Okay, so this is part 3 of this video series on this OS 91 Surpass customer engine. I just completed the run, and after listening to the video, the bearings just don't sound right to me, so I'm going to go ahead and tear this engine down, and we'll start the cleaning, disassembly process, and bearing replacement. As you know, or may not know if you didn't watch the previous video, the run I did with this was using Cool Power MV 15% 4-stroke fuel, which is a all synthetic fuel, and the intention was that hopefully that would help clean the interior of this engine, and by running it and bringing up the operating temperature might help free the piston pin from the piston that I'm going to have to remove in order to get the bearings out. Okay, so here's the inside after that run. You do see a little bit of green tint in there from that MV fuel. So, now the question now is this gasket gonna stay intact, or is it gonna be destroyed? Okay, so this gasket stayed intact. Now, I don't really want to try taking it off since it's intact, which also means I'm not going to be able to put this in my ultrasonic cleaner, because that will definitely destroy the gasket. So this isn't really all that dirty, so this part is not going to be in my cleaner, just for the specific purpose of sparing that intake manifold gasket. I'm just going to put these parts in a bin. Actually, let me just throw on a piece of paper towel right now until I'm ready to put them in the cleaner. Okay, let's start seeing how these head screws are going to loosen up. Make sure we get full engagement. Last thing we want is strip a head screw out. Okay, no worries there. Now this engine is such a low runtime engine, I seriously doubt that I'm going to drop these valves. I may just let them ride in the cleaner like this. I mean, theoretically I probably should just take the valves out, maybe I will, but there's really not a physical reason to remove these valves, because this is such a low runtime engine. You're going to see as I take this head off that there's very little evidence that this engine has been run at all. You're not going by exactly what I was just looking at in the previous video on that, from that small, quite quick look at the piston, top of the piston. Okay, which one of these is hanging up still? That's the one. Okay, and there you go. That's exactly why this is like a very low runtime engine. And hardly, that was green from that MV fuel. I mean, this looks brand new. Now, let me drop these screws out and do a reveal on the head. I mean, look at that. It's You couldn't get much newer looking than that. If it wasn't for the staining here, I probably wouldn't even put this in the ultrasonic cleaner. But because of the fact that it is going in the cleaner, I am going to go ahead and pull these valves. Don't really want to, but I don't want them riding in the cleaner like that. Our valves should just drop right out. See, they don't really even need it. I mean, oh God, I'm sorry. God, I keep forgetting to look up and zoom out. That sucks. I hope I got all that. The reason I want to take those out is because I want to get all of this stuff in here all cleaned up and looking nice again. That's kind of part of the purpose. You'll see a lot of this tarnish or brown deposits here will come out in that cleaning too. As far as the valves go, they look brand new. I'm not going to put those in the cleaner at all. They don't need it. So I'm really only going to clean up the things that really look like they could benefit from it. And many of these parts just simply don't. Now when I pull this drive washer off, I will, because it looks like it's got a lot of wood. It looks like it had been run with a wood propeller. So there's a lot of residue there. So now I need like a, I usually have a plastic spudger stick here to push this cylinder up, this sleeve. And the sleeve is out. Still zoomed in a little bit too much there. So here's the beautiful part. Something I just now noticed, which kind of stupid on my part. Most Surpass engines have a hole right here, which is how you extract the wrist pin. Apparently I was all worked up over nothing on this engine because there is no hole there to extract the wrist pin, which means only one thing really. It means that this piston can come out. There's room for this piston to come out without that. And the only thing that's keeping it from doing that is probably just a little bit of play right between the skirt and that connecting rod. Okay, while I'm letting that some of that LA's Totally Awesome cleaner try and work on that piston pin, I'm gonna go about removing this prop drive. And what sometimes can be a surprisingly difficult thing to do on this engine is surprisingly easy there. And it's a great tool for doing that. Let me make sure I don't lose the Woodruff key. That too is not going in the cleaner. And then there's this spacer here. So the spacer won't go in the cleaner, but the drive washer will. And let's see if I can pull these cam followers out with my wrench. Nope. Let's go ahead and keep disassembling here. I've got this sitting on this nasty rag because I had a whole bunch of oil and gunk coming out. I'm probably going to actually spray this engine down with alcohol first, because I've got a fresh batch of LA's Totally Awesome cleaner in my tank, and if I get rid of most of the oil first, it won't corrode it up, or crud it up I should say, too bad. There's a cam follower. There's our timing gear. There's our other cam follower. Those are going in. All of these parts are going in the cleaner. So now all is a matter of doing is getting this piston out. Okay, so what I'm struggling with here, I think it's well worth an explanation while I struggle with it. Although there is not a hole here to extract the wrist pin. The reason this piston or connecting rod is not coming off the crank pin is because the connecting rod is still really glued to the piston pin, and as I pull out on the connecting rod, the piston pin is moving with it. And I noticed that when I had it all the way out, as far as it would go, and then I look back down in here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. Anyway, I look back down in there and I can see that the piston pin is actually coming out with the connecting rod. So the connecting rod and piston pin are moving together. They're not moving separately like I need them to do to actually come off. So this still sucks. I may just end up having to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner like this, and hopefully the cleaner will vibrate and get enough stuff in there to clean that piston pin off enough so that they do move separately. I mean, that's the only choice I've got right now. I've tried heating it up, which is why I've got my glove on here again.